That's cool.
I can hear you.
I'll quiet myself. Okay, I have little green check marks on everything.
Hey!
I
Hello, everybody.
So it sounds
It
like
looks
everything is happening.
Looks like we're live. We've been live for 21 seconds.
Oops. So I have to watch what I'm saying now.
Yes.
Never. It's fun.
Hey,
So there's
I'm ready.
little red box.
I've got my motorcycle cannonball Spitfire cup. That was made by Kelly Maudlin's daughter. She made cups for everybody and put their names on there. So, yeah.
Cool.
Sweet.
Very cool.
Yeah, so we are live. What, Project Guardians? Are we going to talk about Project Guardians?
Is it bigger than a bread box, smaller than an elephant? Oh my goodness.
Oh, yeah, that was fun leading up to that. But we were doing so much stuff in the background. It was like crazy trying to be ready and know when to pull that trigger, and kind of let people in on what's really going on, and we were still talking to people in the background too, trying to get some of our ducks in a row,
I think we're doing a really good job. I think that you made something happen that is definitely needed and welcomed and appreciated, and you do it from your heart and with such Spitfire spirit. So it just seems that it's a perfect fit and that it's going to be great. I'm excited.
Welcome to my world.
Yay!
Spinning. No, this is it's definitely so much more than just one person, and that's what's so fun about it. It's not one person. It always takes some people to do the background stuff, but it takes a village to raise this child.
That's right. So we have Dennis out there, Dennis Stauber. He's a huge fan and he's out there watching. Thanks, Dennis, for tuning in. You're on the ground floor of what's going on with our Road Guardians project bike build, and it's going to be amazing. So for those of you tuning in right now, just so you know, you have myself, Athena Ransom, and hey, look at that. We got a bunch of folks on there. Miss Vicky Sanfilippo, this is her brainchild, and we are so grateful to be a part of it. We have Miss Erin behind the scenes. She is an integral part of this, along with all our sponsors. And I'm going to let Miss Vicky introduce herself because most of you already know me, and we'll keep going from there. Miss Vicky, tell us about yourself, how it started.
Oh, gosh. Well, I think I know. I probably don't know like everybody, right? So
most everybody.
So I'm a registered nurse, and I started a program called A Crash Course for the Motorcyclist back in 1996. And I was a motorcyclist for like 7 years, and people kind of knew me from, they were always like, hey, there's a nurse with us, like you're going to help and stuff. So anyway, so that's kind of how I got more involved in motorcycling. I mean, I was involved through ABATE and that kind of stuff. But I created a program called A Crash Course for the Motorcyclist. Now today it's called Road Guardians. And we have touched a lot of lives. We've trained over 50,000 people. And I married a guy who's quite well known, Tony Pan Sanfilippo, and he introduced me to a lot of people. And, just have had the good fortune of having motorcycling really be my passion, my love. I got to mix my love for medicine and teaching people with my motorcycling. And that is where I'm at today. It's just, I get to do this every day and immerse myself in what I love. And so that's me. I'm from Milwaukee area.
I love it. Tell us a little bit about what you teach in your courses and where everybody can find the information if they want to find out and participate.
Sure. Yeah, it's a full day program. We're the only accredited program out there. It's like a 9 to 5 type of a class. And it's kind of, if you think of combat medic, for a motorcyclist, like when something goes wrong, that's what
Mhm.
we are. We are like, how do you keep the person alive? Not so much how do you treat them, their pain or anything like that, but more how do you keep them alive and how do you not make things worse? So we start with scene management. And then and things like moving somebody, because you've been told you never move anybody, and that's just not right, so you can't leave them out there to just die, like it's like sometimes you got to move them. So we teach that, and we teach people how to assess the situation and make a good 911 phone call. And then we get into treatment, so stopping the bleed, addressing breathing, and it's jaw thrust rescue breathing. So we have people push pause on doing CPR, because if they do it too quickly, they could actually make somebody worse. So there's a lot of things in an 8-hour course that you need to explain to people in more detail. But yeah, I mean, if somebody's got fractured ribs and a broken spleen and fractured spleen, you just you're going to have to think twice about like what it is you do and what your actions are. So we give people that really great information about things that will make a difference at that scene, and things they can do with minimal supplies. But supplies are important too. So that's our class.
That is fabulously awesome.
Yeah.
And I know from firsthand, from a whoop-de-doo I had, that
Yes.
training matters. So I'm
Uh-huh.
grateful for that, and I love what you do. And so you had a really lucky moment in Sturgis this past year,
I sure
and
did.
it has taken on a life of its own, which is what brings us here today. So I would love for you to just give your brief synopsis on how we ended up here, even though
Sure.
you and I are sisters, Cotterpin sisters forever. Um,
Yes.
how how we ended up here.
I received some tickets in the mail, some raffle tickets. Wasn't expecting them or anything, didn't order them. And I got these 10 raffle tickets for the museum. And they were like, "Hey, could you sell these raffle tickets to your friends and just bring us, the $10 a ticket, and just bring us $100 and for this raffle?" And I was like, shoot, I don't feel like doing that, but I'll give you $100. Sure, So it was really being lazy, not wanting to do that, but I didn't share. I just bought the $100 worth of tickets, and
Love it.
yeah, and didn't really think anything more about it. But I got home from Sturgis, and like 2 days later, I'm down at the Harley Museum, and I got a phone call from Keith Ball, and he goes, "You just won a 124 cubic inch S&S motor that is fabulous." And I was just blown away. I was like, "What? What? What? Really?" And I was also thinking, "Hey, I just got home from Sturgis and it's out there and I'm here." And so I put something out to my friends and said, "Could somebody in who's from Wisconsin yet? Is there anybody still out there in Sturgis?" And sure enough, there was a couple that was out there that I had never met before. So Angela Kuchin and her husband, and they were like, "Yeah, sure. We'll bring that back for you. We got a pickup truck. We'll throw it in the back, and we'll bring it back to Wisconsin." So anyway, I don't think it really dawned on me what a special thing this was, really. But my mind was just spinning. Like, what am I going to do? Am I going to build another bike? I've got a few of them. I love SNS. And my first thought was actually to build an old school looking bike with a new motor, something really new school. So that was my first thought. But I kept hearing this voice in the back of my head from Heidi Harrow, who's the director of the museum, executive director. And she had said something to me when we were out there. She said, "We nonprofits should really stick together. We should do something together." And I didn't have a thought about what I wanted to do at that time, but I was hearing her voice saying, "We should do something together." And I thought, I've got this beautiful mortar that was gifted to me. Now, what if I were to gift it back? And we could do something really fabulous that would benefit both of us. So I called her up and I said, "Well, what do you think?" And she was like, "It sounds like a great project together, yeah, sure, not sure how this would work." We had a few phone calls about it. And I was still not sure how I wanted to do this. So I called you, Athena. that was the next thing. I called you and I said, Athena, I've just got this thing that is just nagging me. It's in the back of my head, and I want your input on it. And you were so excited that, I think you called me 3 times that day,
I
at
did.
least 3 times, like, I got this idea. And it just fed into what I was already wanting to do and thinking. But I knew I had to do more work in the background before we would be ready for this. So that's kind of what brought us to this. We got so fortunate. I pitched the whole idea to Glenn Larson. He's an attorney that I work with in Texas. He has Biker Wolfpack Law, which is a community, motorcycle community arm of his law firm. And I pitched this idea to him, and he said, yeah, I'm all in. I definitely want to do this. And he got excited about it. And he was that partner that we really needed to make this happen. So he also, somebody who works for him is Robert Howell. And Robert is a fantastic painter. He actually won Best in Show at the SEMA car show, or car event, like big event, not car show, but it's even more than that. And out in Las
show,
Vegas. And, to get Best in Paint there is like, whoo, huge feather in your cap. But I've seen his work, and he's edgy and biker cool and tattooed, like he's Glenn's motorcycle advocate,
He is
so
cool.
Yeah, so he has come on board, and he's going to be our painter. So, every person we have talked to, right, Athena, it says, what can we do? How can we be involved? What can we do?
And for a lot of people watching, if you don't know, Miss Vicki and her husband are both Hall of Fame members to the Sturgis Museum and the Hall of Fame, which is also part of their nonprofit. So it's a really cool thing for her to be giving back. And because the museum goes by strictly donations that come in from outside sources and from also their Hall of Fame members and people who support by going to the breakfast and all their different events. You can also rent out a hall in the museum if you want to have a party or an event. That's also cool. Miss Heidi's super cool. So is the rest of the staff there. So yeah, we've had a lot of really good response. We're bringing in companies. We're going to get transmission from Baker and hit Paco up and going to get a frame from them. I'm just waiting for everybody's holiday stuff to simmer down so we can start getting stuff in. I've talked to a lot of smaller individuals that hand make stuff that would like to participate. Anybody out there that wants to participate, you could just call my shop where it's motorcycle part related. Any other kind of information you want on any other ways to sponsor or help with the project, you can reach out to Miss Vicki at Road Guardians, and we'll make sure that you guys have all the information at the end of this. It'll be in the comments too. And then we're going to do this on Tuesday nights for an update and progress. And there's a YouTube channel for the motorcycle build where we're going to be doing progress updates, and you're going to see footage of me and my crazy husband as we just go ahead and have the most fun doing what we love, because that's truly it. And then I do have a disclaimer. If anybody hears me running around singing na 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 na, like the song from Batman, just disregard it completely. It's a warning for my husband. It's all good. I promise.
So he knows these little things. And speaking about like pulling husbands in, Tony Pan drove me to S&S today. We took that gorgeous motor that's been sitting in my garage for the last few months, and I've only been able to see it from the top. I saw a picture of it that they had sent me, but otherwise I've only been able to like open this box and look in it and see the top of it. So today is the first day I actually got to see the motor out of that box.
And you got to see it where it started, right? Where it
started, which is S&S in Viola, Wisconsin. So we took the motor there, and we met with their marketing crew, which thanks Athena, you got that all set up through Howard, and we met with Caleb and Krista and Corey. Yep. And and they so they came and did some filming and things, and got this motor put on a stand, and we talked a little bit about the history of S&S. and what they're going to do to the motor. Like they're just going to check it over. We were talking about it, how it's like going to the doctor. There's nothing wrong. You just go to the doctor to get your little seal of approval. You're doing good. We'll
and send it this way.
Then they're going to send it down to you, and so they were involved at the beginning. They're involved again, and so Tony Pan drove so I could continue to work all day and make phone calls. And
that motor's gorgeous.
But isn't that just absolutely beautiful? I mean,
it's got diamond cut cylinders. It's beautiful.
Polished.
It's a 124. Yeah, polished.
Yeah. Yeah, and it's it says made in the USA. It says Viola, Wisconsin on it. And it's got high flow oil pump in there.
Yep.
So
it's a performer. That's for sure.
Oh yeah. That's
a great shot of that. Was you and Miss Krista and Cody and Caleb.
Yeah,
so cool. That beautiful motor. That's awesome.
Yep. Yeah. So
we got folks watching too. We got Katia watching and Michael Rios watching. Thanks for tuning in, you guys. And we look forward to bringing all kinds of good stuff to you. And stick with us for sure.
Well, this is a Q&A session, so we really would love to have our audience and anybody watching. If you have any questions that you have been wanting to ask, we're here, and we want to involve you in the project from the very beginning. So, if you have thoughts, ideas, questions about what we're doing, like for instance, I'm going to give for instance, like for Athena to get ready to build a bike like this, she actually has a list that she fills out, 25 pages of every single thing she's going to need for building this bike, including motor mounts and nuts. And I mean, just everything, some of the connectors she's going to need. So it's like very involved, but for her to know what she needs for us to be able to do this, she needs to actually sketch it out. And you even did a little drawing, right? That you don't want to share with us.
I did. I don't draw well, but at least it gives me a vision in my mind where I'm going. But yeah, 25 pages, 23 years in the making. And that's just through the process of making it easier when a customer comes to us for a custom build. We get an idea of what they want. Then we start to choose the parts. And that way we don't have a lot of whoop-de-doos at the end. You know what I mean? You'll have times when something won't fit correctly because, stacking tolerances, that's when they make it, and the bits that cut it, get worn out, and so the tolerances are different than if they fit from the bit being new. So you have stuff like that, but you don't leave out major components or major parts. And there literally are 25 pages worth of things that you need to make a motorcycle go from the ground up. So
well, another thing that you've had to do is you've been working with S&S to get the specs on the motor, because you couldn't even get the frame ordered until you knew what the size was of this motor. And when I saw it today, when they got it out, and one of my first comments was, oh my gosh, like this is not going to just fit in any frame. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, you have to measure your deck height, where your cylinders and your rocker boxes reach, to make sure that you have clearance within the backbone of the frame. So a lot of times you can fit an Evo motor in a 4-speed frame, vice versa, shovelhead Evo. But again, even certain Evo frames, they don't always fit because it's a bore and stroke motor, and cylinders are longer and the rocker box shapes are different. So every application is different. So you have to make sure that you do that prior to any part being made where, it's based on that foundation.
Well, and Paco is, you've been in touch with them and talking to them because they are going to be donating the frame, and this frame isn't even made right. I mean, made ahead of time. I mean,
they make everything. Right. They handmade everything to make.
It's made right. Yeah. It's just not. It has not been made right.
Right. Yeah, and so they don't stock a bunch of frames in a warehouse. They actually, like S&S, made in the USA, made there right on site. They have their facilities, and they do so much for our industry. Anywhere you look, and if there's a project or a bike show, or there's a lot of times that you'll go to like a Cycle Source show with Chris and Heather, and you'll win best of show, and you win a Paco frame or a Paco rolling chassis or a Springer front end. And I mean, they go above and beyond. They really do. And it was funny because I just posted about a week and a half ago the first issue of Easy Riders. I have it, and I opened it up to the ad, and it's the Paco ad. It's been around. They've been around since the 60s. It's a good quality part, and we like to use that. So, and it's going to be awesome. I'm so excited. I'm reaching out to BDL, and a couple of Terry Components is always already committed to making sure we have a good starter. Then that's made in the USA, which I strive for that too. You know, I always, if I have an opportunity to do that. And with Terry Components, it's not only made in the USA, it's veteran owned and operated. So that's just for me a plus. And they do a really quality component.
One of the things that surprised me today when I was talking to them at S&S is I didn't realize that all of the materials they use to make their bikes are locally sourced.
Yes,
you know, so
absolutely.
they really do like keep it local, keep it in the USA. It's a family-owned business today. It started out with the grandfather now, George Smith, and now it's owned or actually operated by Brett Smith. So there was George and George Jr. And so one of the things that they would say about S&S is that it was Smith and Smith. So that's what the S&S meant. And other people were like, oh, it means super stock. So it's kind of like, which one is it? It doesn't matter, I guess. You know, they're both S&S.
Right. So Dennis asked if it's going to be a chopper. It's going to be a variety of different styles throughout the generations of motorcycles. I'm going to incorporate a little bit of everything to make a roadworthy, comfortable, and safe motorcycle. So it won't be my normal no shocks, kidneys up to your neck, 1,000 feet ape hanger. So it's not going to be that style of chopper. That's not where we're going with that. And then Miss Katia asked if we have picked out a paint color yet. We are in the progress of seeing what's going to come alive with all this. And Robert and myself are going to collaborate on that. I can tell you it's not going to be a green motorcycle. Just so you know, there's definitely not going to be green. I think it's going to be, if you get to look at his artwork, it's Sun God
graphics. Yeah,
that's my dyslexic. I check all my part numbers twice because sometimes I can sometimes 3 times, and I have Don check them too. But if you see his work, it's incredible. So I know whatever the paint job is, it's going to be amazing. Like Bill says, hi Bill, thanks for tuning in. We're so glad you're here. And yes, keep the questions coming. The really cool part about this process is because it's a collaboration, which that's what the motorcycle community thrives on, is how we all collaborate with one another. Like S&S, the rich history that they have. All of the different companies, they're rich in history in our motorcycle community. The collaboration makes it an amazing thing. And I'm honored to be able to take so much and then create something that represents all of what Miss Vicky wants to put out into the world with her good heart, her good nature, and caring about our past. Because like S&S, they're rich in racing history. And I was fortunate enough when I was younger to actually be on the racetrack with Guy Glover, who is where I started at Cycle Works when I was 15. And I worked behind the parts counter selling T-shirts and eventually got into parts. And I got to meet George Smith when we'd go racing because Guy Glover had the fastest gasoline Sportster in the 80s. And George Smith and Jim McClure and greats like that. So I always paid attention to their rich racing history. And it's so funny because if you look now, they're just now, I think, announcing it. You'll see more and more of it. They're just going right back into their history and supporting the rich racing with the NHRA and the bagger racing leagues and all kinds of bagger racing. So it's really cool to see that they're continuing that, just like many of the companies that, look, Easy Riders is involved. I mean, wow. It's just,
like, hey, is that cool or what?
Oh, Bandit. I still, he did call me the other day and I was flustered and had to ask for a moment. And he said, oh, are you doing something? I said, no, I just gotta compose myself. I don't get starstruck. That's one that, well, sorry. It's a thing.
But speaking of people being involved, this is it. We have all the parts companies and people who are involved. in bringing this bike together. But we also need donors. We need people who are donating to the project, because not all of the expenses are covered by, with the bike build. And we want as much as possible to go back to the nonprofits. But at the same time, we really want to do this right, where we can do things like bringing this podcast to you with, getting the decent graphics put together. We have this really fabulous gal in the background. Her name is Erin Bailey, and she keeps us looking really good. So Erin, she created that logo that you see there, and a lot of our graphics that we have. So she does things like this while we're talking, and kind of. So
I just
anyway,
want
a couple groups that are involved. I wanted to just mention them. Would be the Widow's Sons. Have come on board as legacy partners, and legacy means $1,000 or more. And any group can do that. Any individual can become activist level, or that's $100. A $500 level is enthusiast. We've got Midwest Women Riders. They have come on board as legacy. And we have another business, Biker Life Insurance Plus. So, keep coming with your ideas. We have Mike Hupy is making a big donation on Thursday, and he is challenging other people, and he's going to do a matching donation to encourage more people to donate. So, yeah.
That's
cool
fabulous.
stuff.
And then, of course, we have to let everybody know that if you have stuff, there are things that I'm looking for that some of the distributors don't have. They're either obsolete, and I really would like to incorporate that into what we're doing, because I'd like to show the older stuff that we do, the older style. But I also, most everybody knows that I like to update everything to a more updated version, but keep the old stuff too. I like to, so when I call things a chopper, it doesn't have to have handlebars and a rigid frame, because if you chop it up, then
exactly,
it's a chopper.
That's
it. That's where we come from anyways, because we're a little older, but it's a chopper. So it's going to be a chopper in that sense, but there are some things that I'd like to find that are vintage, that maybe somebody might have. And Greg Lou is donating, his Red Fox, his jewels,
his jewels, that we're going to put on there. That's an old school thing. I mean, it's going to have a definite nod to old school, and it's going to be this immersion of old school and new school, which totally
Chris is sending me a part.
Our nod to the past, where our tagline is protecting our past and our future. And we want to do both things and really, do it right for both of those things.
And Chris Summer Simmons is apparently sending me a very important part that I can somehow put into our build, which I'm very honored to do that. And I don't want to cry, but
I know a little bit about that. We'll tell people about it later.
We'll
tell people more about that. It's going to be very cool. I'd like her to be a co-host too for these podcasts. We're going to try to keep them kind of shorter, but we'll do them every Tuesday night. And we're going to bring on some guest co-hosts, which will be some of the people who are involved in the background. And we'll have, celebrity co-hosts that'll be coming on this as well. So make sure you stay tuned every Tuesday evening at 9:00 EST. And you guys can do the math about what that means for you and your time zone.
Right. And I'm going to go ahead and make sure that I have some really good information that I will put up, and ask you to ask some questions about it if you're not sure. I mean, because of course we're going to start this from a bare frame, and we're going to go ahead and we are going to modify and make what we want work, and make it work safely. And I love to build sanitary motorcycles. I like to have things look a certain way, as everybody who builds does. And I'm really honored to say that, to bring everything together. And again, there are a lot of you out there who want to follow along in this process. These are the basics to building a motorcycle. And that's what I'm here to do, is kind of share with you the basics. I'll share some secrets along the way too. And then as you stay tuned in our YouTube channel, you'll see the bike being built live because we're going to do video and audio. So where you'll see me and my husband, and we'll be, fabricating, and we'll be making spacers and doing all the things, putting gas tank mounts on and moving a few things here, making some exhaust pipes and making the mounts for that, and changing up a few things that I'd like to see, and then updating some things. So, and again, we're going to take some used stuff that's in good shape that has just been sitting, never been used, but it has been sitting in someone's place for a long time. We're going to refurbish it, and we're going to bring it back so that it can go on into the future to represent some of our past, if that makes sense to you. So
we're going to have special guests popping in, at your shop, and
yep, that too.
So we've been a lot of touches on this project. We've talked a lot about how we're going to document the process, because part of what makes this bike be so valuable is just the uniqueness of it and the way we're going about this and involving the entire community, but also just the stories behind each little piece of this. It already is coming with a story, and that story is going to continue to develop, and we're going to probably have this whole story book. That's what we talked about today, is like, we start this like storybook of the bike that can go to the person who wins it.
Yes.
That's
and if they say there's no fairy tales in the world, there's fairy tales in motorcycling, because some lucky winner's going to have a fairy tale for sure that they're just going to ride around and enjoy. So hopefully they'll just be in Sturgis and already have a trailer for the bike they rode there, and they'll just want to ride it home.
There you go.
I love it.
Exactly. Maybe we need to find somebody who will ship their bike back so they can ride this home, so we could find that shipper.
Could be a thing. That could be a thing for sure.
It could be another thing. Yeah. So
Ms. Vicki, you have any questions about the process of motorcycle building? I mean, you're pretty affluent into what goes into it.
Do I have any questions about it?
Yeah.
I think I've asked a whole bunch already, but I think what I want to do is like keep, like we're gonna keep talking about this as we talk each week. And I think we're going to save a bunch of those things, those questions, and what the next steps are, because we're going to talk again next Tuesday. And I know we're getting into Christmas week, but
Christmas.
Yeah, we get into Christmas week, So
let's see if they show up. Do they show up? Oh, they don't show up.
Oh, no, not quite. Oh, there we go. Yep.
I got you.
Yeah, you were wearing bug ears the other day. You were wearing little lady bug ears. You must have a bunch of them.
I do. I put them on all the time because it makes me giggle, and then it makes a happy day, and I just get to have fun in my shop. So that's just what it's all about. Yeah.
Yeah. So we'll do next Tuesday. We'll do the Tuesday before the first of the year, and then I think we're gonna hit 2026 just really hard. We're gonna keep going there and introducing you to a lot of the people that are involved with this. We're going to keep bringing them in as well. Yeah. So if you think of something and it was like, you're not sure if you could even make it to the podcast, but you can watch it later, but you want your question answered, those kinds of things, you can just shoot to us on social media. We will hang on to those and we'll answer your questions as we go along. But no green, you figured that one out. So Kat asked about that. She's my friend. So, So Kat asked about that. I think the motorcycle has not told us exactly what it is quite yet. So that'll be revealed to us as other things have been. And we'll
they take on a life of their own. It's pretty cool. Yeah.
So
and it's going to be exciting. We'll definitely talk next week. And anybody, if you have any kind of stuff that you might want to participate with, or see if maybe we're interested in some of the parts that you might have, stashed in that little hoarder box that everybody's got. I'm hitting up good ones like, Roadside Marty and things like that. But just DM me through the Vagabond Chopper or Athena Ransom Facebook page, or call the shop. And I'd love to see what you got and see what we can incorporate in all this. So.
All right. So we'll talk next week about how some of the events that we hope to have the bike at and what our time schedule is. We'll do all that stuff next week as well. So we had so much to tell you. We kind of were like, oh man, where do we even start and end here? So we've done a lot in the last few months. So anyway, Oh, I can't even see. I don't see where everybody
So
is.
on the other side of like the private chat, if you go, there's a tab next to it. It says comments up at the top right.
Up at the top right. Okay. Oh,
It
I
says
see.
private chat
There we
and then
go.
comments. If
Oh,
you
there
click
they
on
all
comments.
are.
Yeah,
All
see, you got them. Right. So
There
now
we
you can
go.
be distracted too. I love it.
Oh yeah, for sure.
It's fabulous.
So great.
All right.
Okay.
Well,
Well,
next week then.
next week it is. All right.
All
Sounds
right,
good.
everybody. Go shopping, get all your stuff done. Don't forget, True Will Freedom.
Good night.
Good night. We're still live.
Hello.
Aaron,
There's the blooper.